And these sausages, we just did a dress in studio this morning where we took tiny little plastic transparent beads and we kind of put a cloth that was over them and made a tube and made tiny little knots like we do and it fringed the edge of the garment in 2 layers exactly like these flowers on this glove. It looks very interesting, but it's not ready to be ready by tomorrow. Looking at that, I mean, I'm for this new collection we're doing, I just picked this paper as my frame board reference because it had all the colors of tropical island. And I was actually picking colors out from it to dye our fabric and to create a collection that looks truly colorful and wonderful. And though I'm known for my white, I'm going to shift away. It's a young man, very Dravidian, tall, strong-faced, nice body tone, very simple garment. And we said, listen, if this is going to work as a powerful image, why can't we translate it instead of wearing a Wendell Rodriguez shirt, I'm going to put it on a supermodel in the same way next slide. And then we have Upen Patel in the same shirt, wrapped in the same, almost the same way, to create the same impact.
Wendell displayed a garment that was dyed with guava leaves and told how he convinced villagers to plant trees rather than cutting them for firewood.
It looks like nothing. It's a simple garment that has leaves on it. But there's a history behind this garment. First of all, we adopted a tribal village with an NGO in the Amboli Ghats about 7 years ago. The tribals were cutting down the forest and using the trees for firewood. And we said that this was causing extreme devastation. We actually went to them and said, we'll offer you a free cylinder, don't cut the trees. And we worked with this NGO and told them, instead of cutting the trees, what we want you to do is to plant trees that we want. One of the trees that they did plant, the saplings given by us, was guava. And this garment that is in front of me here is actually dyed with guava leaf.
The international fashion designer said locally available items should be creatively put to use.
This is what fascinates me about Goa, to go into the Friday market in Maksa and to see this, it comes from another world. It's not, Mari biscuit packets in plastic and foil which look so ugly. This has such a nice texture, such a nice warmth, it speaks of another time. And I'm quite sure I'm going to use this imagery in a garment or a space or a wall in the future. Next one, you all know what these are, kankanas, and at the back, kakre kois and the other kois. Kankanas, I mean, when I first saw them, when my partner Jerome saw them, he said, oh, this is fantastic, we're going to serve main course dishes with this kankana on the side and fill it inside with either sortotel or with Goacom bhaji, which actually makes so much sense. A, it looked pretty, and B, it was never done before.
He pointed out the need to use articles from the past and recreate it.
That big pot, which was in every kitchen in Goa, now disappeared from almost all of them. Some of them have been sold, and we have to blame Goans for this because they sell the land, they can sell their own. Very few people have actually used it. When people came to my shop and said, it's amazing how you use the old sewing machine and put a glass top on it, and we painted the sewing machine grey or white, and it just looked like a new thing. We need the interpretation, we need the translation, we need to keep the things like the confro and these things and bring them out into our drawing rooms and prominent places. I can imagine even a 5-star hotel, if you have a platform and you have 7 of them stacked up with great flower decorations in them, it will make the best design statement that you won't find anywhere outside the state of Goa. And that needs to be done and reinterpreted and constantly retranslated.
Wendell displayed a design which he had created for the blind.
This is a collection I'm extremely proud of. A gentleman who was blind came to me once and said, can you do clothes for blind people? And I said, what do you have? And he said, we have this big problem wearing clothes. We can't find our buttons, we don't know what color the garment is, we miss and match. And I don't know, I took about 6 months. I finally translated Braille in very small beads, which you can't see, which actually Malaika is trying to read along the top of the garment. And I did not know, it was a worldwide discovery. It was picked up by Music Magazine, picked up by American and French TV, that for the first time in the history of the world, garments could be read and blind people could read their socks, that it was a black sock, that the numbers would match on the button and the buttonholes.
And also pointed to architecture of the olden times and said that it should be transformed with a touch of modernization.
Interesting in terms of what it stands for, but a complete mix of many others. Why should it? We need to move forward. We need to give artists a chance to express whatever they have in their mind. So Tirakot Fort, which is now a hotel, and this is the ozone which I designed for the Goa map. This is the St. Rock Chapel in Kolwar. What do people feel about such coloring? You know, some people say, no, all our houses are being painted in these weird colors, we don't know what's happening. And Sopper, and she just converted it into a modern statement. It's got this nice little line, it's retained the old asset to the toilet. And
The lecture was followed by a musical performance by seg3 Ladies String Quartet. And now for the movies released at the Inox today. Vantage Point. Thomas Barnes and Ken Taylor are two Secret Service agents assigned to protect President Ashton at a landmark summit on the global war on terror. When President Ashton is shot moments after his arrival in Spain, chaos ensues and desperate lives collide. In the crowd is Howard Levis, an American tourist videotaping the historic event to show his kids when he returns home. There is also Rex, an American TV news producer who is reporting on the conference. It's only as we follow each person's perspective of the same 15 minutes prior to and immediately after the shooting that the terrifying truth behind the assassination attempt is revealed.
It was nice.
It was nice.
What did you like about it?
It was a good accent.
Hello, how was the movie?
Excellent.
Good action, good acting, all the best.
American Gangster. Harlem drug dealer played by Denzel Washington smuggles heroin into the country by hiding it in the bodies of US soldiers killed during the battle in Vietnam. When the criminal kingpin suddenly dies, Lucas sees the opportunity to build his own criminal empire. In the following months, Lucas solidifies his status as Harlem's most innovative drug dealer by delivering a product that is purer than the competitors and cheaper as well. When innovative businessman Lucas attempts to go semi-legit by becoming one of Manhattan Borough's biggest civil supporters, however, street-savvy outcast cop Richie Roberts, played by Russell Crowe, begins to sense a sizable shift in the hierarchy of the drug underworld. But Roberts is one of the few honest detectives operating within a corrupt system, and as he sets out to investigate the case, crooked detective Trupo, played by Josh Brolin, does everything in his power to compromise the integrity of his idealistic counterpart. While Roberts and Lucas may be operating on the opposite sides of the law, the one thing that both men have in common is a strict code of ethics that separates them from their opportunistic colleagues. Now, as a confrontation between the two men becomes inevitable and the fate of each becomes inexorably tied to the other, it gradually becomes apparent that only one of them will emerge from the conflict victorious.
Hi, how's the movie?
Awesome.
What's it about?
About a gangster.
What did you like about it? What's it about?
American Gangster. Quite a violent gangster movie, very gritty. But it was good. Yeah. Good acting.
Before we end, here's a reminder of the headlines. Union Finance Minister raises income tax slab, waives farmers' debts. High Court makes speed governors compulsory. Gutka packet finds its way in the slice bottle. That's all we have in today's bulletin. If you have a story that needs to be told or an issue that needs to be highlighted, email us at goa365@readofmail.com or call us at 3290 335.